Hello, I'm Patrice. We are here in Tokyo, and today I would love to speak to you about the marathon. So, why the marathon? It's mainly because it's for me a very interesting experience, and I've learned some lessons during the marathon that I can apply to my personal life. So, let's start by the beginning. I started to run the marathon 20 years ago. After a divorce, I have to decide if I want to still drink and smoke cigar, or if I quit all these things and I start to run. And the choice was just simple to make because I realized that I cannot do both of them. So then I start to run different marathons, and since then I've run around the world, as for instance in Paris, in Luxembourg, in Mumbai, in San Francisco. So really around the world, and I expect to run the Tokyo Marathon next year. So what I've learned in the marathon, ladies and gentlemen, I've learned 3 lessons, and today I will explain you these 3 lessons and how you can apply this lesson in your personal life. Why? It's mainly because when you're running the marathon, something very interesting is happening. You have to deal with adversity, and we know that in life it's mainly sometimes about dealing with adversity. So let's start by the beginning. At the beginning of a race, what's usually happening is I'm looking around. I'm looking to different people. All these people who are, who are able to run very quickly. They are always in front of me. I'm not speaking about my Kenyan or Ethiopian brothers who can run a marathon just above 2 hours. I'm speaking even about this guy with a lower center of gravity who I'm quite sure he will run faster than I. And all these things make me think that I have to really take care of my resources, all the resources that I have. And usually at the beginning of the race, when I start to run, I'm just looking around. People are running like crazy. Some people just cross me over. And so that's just for me a lack of energy. I don't want to focus on all these things. Even at the beginning, usually people are screaming. Some people want to give you some high five. All these things, ladies and gentlemen, I try to be away from them. Why? Because I want to keep my mind just focused on one objective. I need to cross the finish line. This is the main thing that I want to do. So after that, usually after a while, what is happening is I start to speak to myself. I start to speak to my body. And I start to, I need to get in touch with my inner voice. And why is it important? It is important mainly because actually what is happening during the race is mainly that I need to understand when I'm not feeling good. This is something which is very important. Because when I don't feel good, I have to decelerate. As well as when I'm feeling good, I have to accelerate, but incrementally. That means that I don't have to cheat myself. This is the first lesson that I've learned during a marathon: is never cheat yourself. This is the first lesson. The second thing that I've learned is you have to have a strategy. And my strategy usually is to do more with less. When you are doing that, actually, you are saving a lot of energy, and you make sure that you'll be able to cross the finish line. So during the race, usually, I try to understand if I'm feeling good. And if it's the case, I don't change anything. But as soon as I start to feel my body hurting somewhere, I definitely try to change my movement. Just try to make sure that I'm running at my optimal level, and I'm avoiding any type of misconduct which would bring some hurt. I'm trying to avoid to hurt myself. This is extremely important. I'm doing my best in each movement to avoid to hurt myself. And this is the second lesson that I've learned during a marathon. It's not about running faster, slower. It's really about avoiding to hurt myself. how can I manage my body in order to make sure that I'm keeping moving forward. This is the second lesson. The last lesson that I've learned, ladies and gentlemen, it's mainly about how to deal with the last mile. And usually I'm dealing with the last mile in an opposite way as people are dealing with the last mile. When usually I'm arriving at the last mile, something strange is happening. Usually people start to give up. People start to work. And when I see that, I realize that I've been able, ladies and gentlemen, to better manage my resources. And because I've been able to better manage my resources, usually what I'm doing during the last mile is I accelerate. Strange, yes, it's definitely strange. I accelerate because I've been able to keep enough resource to just move extremely quickly during the last mile. This mile, which is hurting, actually for me it's not hurting, but I'm just moving faster. And by doing that, actually, I've been able to run a lot of a marathon. So this is the first lesson that I've learned, is I have to be extremely creative in the way I manage my resources in order to behave completely differently from the 99% people are behaving during the last mile. For me, my body is probably still hurting, but I think that in my mind, I've been able to manage my resource perfectly in order to accelerate during this last mile. So to summarize, I've learned 3 things during a marathon. The first one is to never cheat yourself. The second one is to have a strategy, to implement it, and to be extremely flexible when you are implementing your strategy. And the last one is to be really creative during the most important moment, which is the last mile. To be really creative when you are approaching these milestones. And if you can do that also in your personal life, I can guarantee you that you will be able to manage adversity in a way which is completely different from what you have been used to do. Thank you.